This podcast covers sensitive topics that may be difficult for some listeners. Please take care while listening. Hi, everyone. Hi, P.
Hi.
Welcome back to Girl Undrunk. This is a very weird, exciting, crazy. Isn't it so weird to even just be sitting here doing this right
really
now?
Weird. I feel like I'm having an out-of-body
I know.
experience.
I dermaplaned my face this morning, and I feel like I still have goosebumps on my face right now. It's so weird. I'll be honest. Before I introduce, we will. I feel like this is what we've always wanted to do. Sit and have everyone have to listen to us for an hour.
Yeah.
Feels good.
Time down.
So today, before we get into the intros let's do intros first. Obviously, I'm Heather. Hi, welcome back. Today, we're in Ottawa. I drove to Ottawa last night. I'm staying with my mom. It's so nice. And I have a very special guest today, and I'm so excited about it. But this is my friend, Paige Wood.
Hi.
Best friends.
Best friends.
We've been best friends, well, we'll get into it.
Many moons.
Many moons have passed. And then the moons got lost, and then the moons came back.
Yes.
And it's going to be totally fine.
It'll be totally fine.
This is I call her P. This is Paige's first podcast, so we all remember how mine went. It's going to be great. Today, I'm so fucking excited. Look what we're drinking. We just met this wonderful woman, Alana, at our live event a few weeks ago. She makes non-alcoholic wine. And it's exciting because a lot of non-alcoholic stuff, because you've had non-alcoholic Coronas.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff is 0.05. And that's just the distillation process. So it's fine. But this is 0.0. And they get the alcohol out. It's like a vacuum. She wrote it down for me. Hold on. Obviously, I have to refer to my notes. It gets removed by vacuum distillation. So the way she explained it was
like they suck it out?
Yeah, well, the way she explained it was steaming something, essentially. You can, when you're cooking with alcohol, and then it steams out all the alcohol.
Right, it evaporates.
Yeah.
And then that's why you don't get drunk from vodka sauce.
Damn, though. So, can you have vodka sauce?
Yeah.
What can you not eat?
Well...
She's one of those, by the way.
I could eat anything if I really wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
I eat small amounts of lactose-free dairy.
Okay, that's changing my life, by the way. I've been putting it in my coffee, and I feel less crazy.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good way to get around things and fill some nutritional gaps if they are there. For me, protein, things like Greek yogurt. Cottage cheese, very controversial. I love. It is? Yeah, well, some people think cottage cheese is nasty.
Oh, because it looks it looks horrible.
It looks disgusting.
Cottage cheese is one of those things I can have in a very small bowl. I started eating it in rehab. I was like, I guess we'll try new things.
Yeah.
But when I see it in its bucket, I'm like, oh!
Yeah, like a vat of cottage cheese.
A vat of anything, really.
Fair enough.
Okay, yeah, so this is from Spain. We love Spain. We love a European wine. Very exciting. They have them in a rosé, I think a white and a sparkling white, but I haven't tried them at all yet. I'm very excited. Alana is going to come on the pod and tell us all about it.
Oh, that's cool.
Is this a twist? Yeah, it is. Okay, let's twist.
Hands are sweaty because I'm nervous.
Is it weird to drink wine with me again?
Kind.
Right? You're like, oh, is this 0.0 or is she razzing me? Okay, let's pour her in. Bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. Why not the whole thing? You know me.
Fire burning, cloak and bubble.
I also want to point out that September is fucking National Recovery Month.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So
happy Recovery Month.
And happy Recovery Month to you, too.
Thank you.
This is really great.
That's true. I always forget to count myself amongst the recovered.
I know. You're a lunatic, too.
Yeah. Oh, I'm ill.
She didn't know. It's because you've never put anything up your nose. You don't know that you had a problem.
That's true. Well, there was once.
No, you... Really?
Yeah, one time in a bar bath, classic college stuff.
Bar bathroom.
I think my friend told me it was Molly, and I think it was cocaine because the way I behaved afterwards indicates
Molly.
Indicates cocaine.
Oh, indicates cocaine.
And the way it was administered. But I never was interested in hard drugs. Like, I
Okay.
would drink and I would smoke weed, but
Mhm.
the stuff, like the scary stuff, I was always like, "Ooh, I don't need to touch." I had like a healthy fear of it, I think.
Yeah. I did
And I
too at
just was like,
first.
that's like the devil I don't need to know.
Do you remember the first time we drank together?
Okay, I don't know if was it at my house? Did
With
you steal my dad's beer?
with
That was
with
my
R,
thing.
your friend R?
Yes.
I won't say their name, but, how are they?
I don't know.
Okay.
We're not really connected
Okay. Interesting.
anymore. I like every few years one of us will send the other one a message and just be like, "Hey, love you, hope you're doing well," kind of
Yeah.
thing.
One of
I
those.
honestly have no idea,
Dang,
but I
so
love
weird.
her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you guys that was young, so that would have been probably 7th grade or maybe
Mhm.
6th grade?
I came in
6th grade.
6th grade, but I know that I didn't start taking and I would take, like, literally one
Yeah.
of my dad's beers
Yeah.
till I was, like, closer to I was probably, like, 13, maybe
Well,
12.
okay, yeah, so, like, grade 7,
Probably.
I came over to your house, and this was funny because you and me, I think a big theme of our friendship, especially for me, has been competition.
Uh-huh.
Like, oh,
Yeah.
should we cheers this, by the way?
Yeah. We didn't even try
Cheers.
it.
I love you so much. I'm
I
so
love
glad. Thank you for coming.
you.
Mm. Ah,
No, that's really
right?
good.
Damn, I love a wine. Thank you, Alana. This is amazing.
I'm always like, how do you make a non-alcoholic wine still
I know,
taste like wine?
but it's the distill. She told me that sometimes in Europe, like they'll bring it to 2 different places. Like they'll distill it twice.
Mm.
But yeah,
They do
because
everything better in
sometimes
Europe.
when non-alcoholic wine first came out, I was like, this is raisins. It just tasted
Yeah,
like
that's what I've always
raisins.
heard, that it just tasted like or like grape juice kind of thing, and that it wasn't really that good because I knew like pregnant people who would like, and I'm like, I'd rather just have
Yeah,
the sparkling water at that point,
right.
but this is actually really good. I would
Yeah,
absolutely drink that
it is nice
instead of
because
a glass of wine.
this is like what I romanticize wine so much, and like to be able to, and it is fine for me. For some people, like I'm sure it's like triggering or whatever. For me, it's so nice to just be able to sit down, drink a glass of
Mm.
wine, chill the fuck out,
Mhm.
and then go on with my day and have a great sleep and wake up the
Yeah.
next morning. Like
It's the experience and the
it's the whole thing,
what it feels like, what it represents.
the facade,
Yeah.
rich, and I love champagne, so you know. For the
Okay,
first time we
so
drank together,
mhm.
I was so scared because I thought you two were so fucking cool because you guys were like weird little goths and I didn't know about goths. Like I was just like, me in my suburb, I didn't know about goths. And then you came to the school and somehow you were
Mhm.
like still goth or scene. Remember scene?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yet we were wearing like uniforms, but you would still find a
Yeah.
way to do like black
There's always a
streaks.
way to bend the rules. Story of my life.
That is true. Did you get into a lot of trouble as a kid?
No,
No.
not a lot of trouble, but when I did get in trouble, it was usually big
Big
trouble.
trouble.
So things like the first time I got way too drunk when I was 15, and that's the only time I was ever grounded, and I was in so much
Where were
trouble.
you?
The basement of like some kid that I was with, the same friend.
Okay.
Um, I was with her, and I was with like a couple of guys that she knew from school or whatever in town, and
Mhm.
we were like 15. We drank like tequila and Kool-Aid, and I threw up all over the rug. And my mom came and picked us
Mm,
up. It was Halloween,
mm.
me and Halloween, and she took me to the hospital. My brother had to
Really?
carry me into the house, and then she ended up taking me to the hospital
'Cause she
because
was really worried.
I only drank. I was so messed up. I was like 100 pounds
I
at
was gonna
15 years
say, like,
old.
you're a very tiny person. Back then, you were, like, maybe 100
Yeah.
pounds.
And that was the first, well, not the first time that I got drunk. That's not true. But the first time that I got too drunk
Okay.
and got sick and stuff like that. And um, she took me to the hospital because she was convinced I'd like taken drugs or something because I was so out of it. And then
Damn.
they just like put me on an IV and kept me overnight, and I
Nice.
was grounded.
Did they yell in your face?
Um, Not so much. That's not really my parents'
Yeah.
style. They not much of yellers in my household, but like
I don't know if I've ever heard them yell.
I have. And in both cases, mom and dad, it's scary. It's like, when they get mad enough to get like that, then it's like,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, this is so scary."
Yeah.
But more like that really, really intense disappointment.
So much worse. It's so
And
much worse.
yeah, and as like a genuine people pleaser growing up. I was like, oh no, you're mad at me. And that was like enough.
I find it interesting though, because you were such a good kid. So like you getting in trouble, like I would have figured, because at this time too, when I went to high school, I feel like you and I didn't talk that much.
Yeah. You
And
came to a couple parties with me.
I did. And we were
made
playing,
out with boys.
what were their names?
Mm.
What was the first and last initial of the name of the guy that I made out with in Brayside?
I want to say it was AG.
What is it? That's it. That's it. He was so hot, but he's bald now, right?
I think so.
Yeah, that's okay. He was a good kisser. That was like the first time I felt like I was a teenager. When I was
Yeah.
like, no, I would have already gone to college, I think. Because I didn't kiss a boy till I was, this might be something you actually don't know. Can I confess something fucking crazy to you right now?
Yeah.
No, I think you already know.
What?
That boyfriend that I had,
Yeah.
you know that he didn't exist.
No, okay, I knew it.
No, I knew you knew.
it.
I knew you. Well,
You
I didn't know.
filthy little liar. I knew it.
That
And you
feels-
never admitted that to me. And the number of elaborate stories you told me
I know.
about this boy that was not real.
He was a real person. He was brothers with my friend.
Okay.
But we never talked, kissed, touched, or ever spoke.
I feel really validated
I feel
right now.
really bad.
Don't feel bad. It's kind of hilarious.
It's crazy. I was having my like first romantic or sexual experiences with a fake person.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But you know what?
I love the sweater
You know what?
skirt.
I feel like at that time, you were starting to be friends with the Arn Pryor boys. And so you had a phone, and I had a phone,
Mhm.
and you were texting boys. And I was so jealous. I always felt like you had more of a life than me. And so I think probably if I'm going back into my kid brain, I was just like, oh, I need to be cool. Like I need to be ahead of her. You know? It made me crazy when you got a bra before me. It fucking made me crazy.
Oh my God, Kate.
I was so
No,
into
like,
you about your boobs. I'm
so
sorry.
many things going up right now.
We
Hey,
haven't even started.
No, but I feel like it needs to be said that, like you kind of said, like for you, you felt like our friendship was kind of competitive when we were younger. We have always loved each other so deeply. We went to a school where
Mhm.
there were not a lot of eligible friends around, like very small school, very small classroom sizes. So we latched onto each other immediately.
We latched onto each other when you came to visit the school
For
in
my
5th grade.
visiting
I was like,
day.
mine.
And I was like, guess this is my new best friend. Which I love to joke that Heather was assigned to be my friend because she was literally told, like, there's a new girl coming to, like,
Yeah.
see the school, and you have to take her around and basically make her want to come here.
And I was really the only one who could do that.
You succeeded. You were the only one for the job. Kind of duped me, we'll say.
No, you know what?
You're like, I need someone to trauma bond with.
I think that's probably true. I think if I had like known what I was doing, I was like, I'm manipulating this bitch to come be my best friend because what is going on here?
But the funny thing to me is, so like, my point is we spent so much time together, and we were at that school from like 8 a.m. till 5:30 p.m. Monday to Friday, and it was just so much time together. And then sometimes spending time together on the weekends, if like you weren't dancing, I wasn't dancing, whatever.
Or skipping school to go snowboarding. Remember when our moms let us do
So
that?
that's the coolest thing my mom's ever done.
Same. So cool.
Ever. Because she would make me go to school sick. She made me go to school with a broken arm.
I mean, yeah, you showed up to school and like immediately passed out once.
Twice?
Twice.
Right?
Yeah.
But she did let me skip school to go snowboarding with you, which was sick.
Yeah. I think she probably knew we needed that.
Yeah, I think so. But anyway, so I feel like, so that's kind of like the groundwork there. But we spent so much time with each other, and everyone fights with their friends when they're young. But we spent so much time with each other, and we were both sort of, I feel like, always vying for who's the smartest one, who's the prettiest one,
who has who's dating Justin.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I can say it. Excuse me. I dated him for like 2 seconds in 6th grade, and then 5th grade, that's when you were coming to the school, and I was afraid of boys, and that continued on.
But I didn't date him till grade 9 for like almost a year.
I know, and then you like big dated him. You like,
He was a nice boy.
can I mention the first time you had sex?
Sure.
The first time that Paige had sex, I was I was thrown into a spiral after that.
I
was
remember telling you about that.
on my driveway.
Yeah.
And you were wearing those American Eagle, like, patch plaid
those
boxer
were
shorts.
cute little shorts.
I know, and your little butt. I remember your butt. I mean, I do know you by your butt more than I know you by your
Most do.
face, I think.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, fuck. I'm not there at all. And I think that's where I really started to feel us separate, because I was like, I'm never going to have sex. I'm not there at all. I've never kissed a boy. I've been lying about it, but I've never touched a boy. We've never held hands except for with Alec. How are you, by the way? I miss him.
I feel so bad for him. We were so mean to him.
Well, that's what happens, okay? But now he's like married, I think.
Is he? Good for him.
I don't know. I think probably they all are, and they're all like in the mountains. A lot of them left and went to the mountains.
Didn't he start kayaking a lot or something? Camping? I feel like I remember something about that on social media.
They're all outside people.
Yeah.
And that was really hard for me, and I remember that being like what the fuck am I going to do now? Like, I'm going to have to lie about having sex? Like, this is crazy.
See, it's so funny to me that you felt like you were trying to keep up with me, because I feel like I spent so much of my life trying to keep up with you, but just, I guess, in different ways.
Yeah.
Because, like, I wasn't scared of boys, and I was like, you know, so I think that was something that, like, I just matured with a little bit more quickly, and not even in, like, a bad way, to be clear. Like, I feel very good about the way that, like, my experiences went, and I had some good boyfriends and I had some not great boyfriends, but I was always kind of dating somebody, like, with whatever level of seriousness you can when you're in high school and stuff. So I feel like maybe I was doing that stuff more, and it's so funny that you think, like, I was so cool with, like, my little, like, my eyeliner and my, like, Evanescence playlist. I'm like,
your long black skirts, and you're like,
which are kind of back in right now. And I'm like,
I know, I have one.
Excuse me, because you definitely made fun of me for wearing that before.
100%.
But it's so
I was jealous
funny.
of you.
Well, but I always, this is now just going to turn into us, like, telling each other how cool we are for the next hour. But I always was like, Heather's so cool. I was always like, where did you get that outfit? Because how do I get that out? Because we weren't shopping at the same places. Like, you were wearing, like, Abercrombie and, like, all this kind of stuff. And you had, like, all these cool, like, more, like, preppy kind of outfits. And I was like, oh, well, Heather's really cool and everybody likes her. So, like, I should now do that. And, like, you have this huge personality and you're super funny. And you walk in a room, you start talking, everybody pays attention. It's just the way it has always been. Like, whether they're like, oh my God, this girl's hilarious and I want to be her friend, which I think is like most people, or they're like, oh my God, where did this girl just come from? Like, she just came in and sucked all the oxygen out of the room. But I don't even mean that in a bad way. I was so envious of that because I come across extroverted, but I'm actually like a very introverted person at my core, and I can be shy in new social situations. And I feel like you could just walk in a room and I'm like, and you were this incredibly talented dancer. And there were just so many things I felt like you did so much better than me, and I felt like I was always trying to be cool enough to be your friend.
Really?
Which is why when we grew apart, I was like, I didn't make the fucking cut.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We'll get into all of that. It's so funny because I felt the same way about you. I was like, she's this new girl. We're all like old news now. You're coming in. You're
grade 5.
Yeah, you were also like so tiny, which was like always interesting to me. Like I've always been obsessed with like being tiny. Like I want to be tiny. And I was like, oh my God, she's so skinny and little, and she's wearing glasses, so that means she's smart, which is I still
actually
think that.
Just a lazy eye, but we can go with the smart thing.
Bumping into
That's
walls.
Cuter.
You were also extremely smart. And that was very hard for me also. Well, yeah. Okay, so listen. Up until Paige got there, I was winning the French award. And then Paige got there and immediately won the French award.
I knew the French award was going to come up.
I'll never let it go.
I knew it was going to come up. I came from French immersion.
Yeah.
Though.
So it wasn't
And then
fair.
into a school where I'm not confident that the French teacher knew French. So
and that's exactly right. Where's she? Dead? Do you know if any of them are dead?
I mean, the founder.
The founder is dead. I've been on.
She was 100 and some.
Have you seen the Reddit posts about it?
No. Show me later.
Apparently a lot of abuse. Which makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about private school?
Yeah.
So in the beginning of this pod, I talked about my story,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of my story starts at private school.
Yeah.
I was there 2 years before you were there,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of it had already started.
Yeah.
And I'm just wondering, what was your experience like there? Like, did you have, because I feel like we've kind of gone over this in our lives, and I just feel like we had somehow completely different situations being best friends in the same class every single year.
Yeah. I think it's hard because I think the way that I look at those experiences now as an adult,
Mm-hmm.
and now that I'm like informed differently, I reflect and I'm like, oh, wait a second.
Mm-hmm.
More red flags than I maybe would have realized at the time as a kid. And
Yeah.
as a kid, you're just kind of in it and you're just trying to survive. And there's so many other things you're worrying about
Mm-hmm.
that, at least for me, I wasn't necessarily always focused on what was happening in the classroom or with my teachers.
Yeah.
Um, that said, I came from a situation where I was being bullied in public school,
Yeah.
like badly from the time I first went to school. Always the smallest kid in the class. Glasses, dumb stuff that, like, who cares? But when
Yeah.
you're 6, you care when someone makes fun of you for that stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so for me, there was this relief when I went to private school because I wasn't being bullied anymore,
Mm-hmm.
right? My friends weren't being mean to me. Like, I met a friend who liked hanging out with me and wanted me to be there. And I was like, how cool is this?
Yeah.
And, like, the boys weren't making fun of me because they were all scared of me for some reason.
Oh my God, they still are.
Chip on my shoulder has always taken me far with that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, so I think there was a relief for me initially.
Yeah.
And I think that went over really well. That said, we do have some experiences that we kind of shared, like in Mr. Teeny's class.
Mm-hmm.
And then there were some things for me that came up after you'd left the school, because you left after grade 8 and I was
Mm-hmm.
there for 9 and 10.
Yeah.
And I feel like I took a lot of heat in grade 9 and grade 10 at that school. So for me, it was sort of later.
Okay.
I think by
Like you
that,
became the me, kind of.
honestly, I've thought about it a lot, and it's almost like there was no other outlet for it. So it was like, well, who is the next?
Who's next in line?
Yeah, and I think we all know people like that because, like, I've had bosses like that at work.
Yeah.
I've known people like that in school. I've had, like, so many different people I've come across like that who they kind of pick a person, right? And they pick and they pick and they pick. And when they beat that person down and they're no longer standing in front of them, they move on to somebody else.
Yeah.
And I feel like that happened to me a little bit. I think it was also hard for me as I got older at that school because it was very conservative. And I was not.
Yeah.
And I had a boyfriend who was like the golden boy at the school.
Yeah.
And so the whole narrative was, keep tabs on them. Paige is going to corrupt him.
Right. Right.
Okay, teenage boy, give me a break. Like, could not have been further from the truth.
It starts so early. It's so
Right?
early. Like, how could that have been your fault? It's
Yeah.
crazy. Like,
So, and that was and to be clear, I'm not saying that he was like,
no,
making
but
me do anything.
no, but if anyone's going
very
to be
nice boy.
horny, it's like, why is
Well,
it just
yeah,
you?
it's just like so funny to me. And like, I wasn't doing anything that other 15, 16-year-olds aren't doing, like wanting to talk to a boy or kiss a boy or hold hands with a boy or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's like, I was really bullied by staff in grade 9 particularly. And then it's like when I wasn't dating him anymore in grade 10.
Oh, it stopped?
Yeah, or got better. But by that point, I had such a chip on my shoulder from being bullied as a kid and deciding like, I want to be confident. I want to be this person, that I just kind of took it.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
I
you
don't
seem to
feel like
take things.
traumatized from it because I'm just like, yeah, you were being an asshole.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
whatever, dude. Like, I'm not going to listen to you.
Yeah, and I wonder what that is, if I just got caught up in it too early, or if I just didn't have that objectiveness, whatever. I don't know. I couldn't take things in the way that you could. I remember you being yelled at or you being in trouble and you not crying. Oh, being in the dean's office
Oh my
and being
God.
in trouble. And the second I stepped in, I would start crying, but you did
Yeah.
not. And I was like, what the fuck is all this about?
Yeah, I don't
And
know
then
if
he would
it's
keep
like,
me there because I was upset and you
yeah,
got to go.
I feel like maybe you had more of like a fear of authority. And I don't like confrontation. I do not like conflict, but I can hold my own in a conflict situation.
Yeah. I just go to the
And
wind.
I feel like you would just kind of shut down, get quiet and stuff like that. And I think that there's a lot of things. I don't know. And I don't know if this is like such a crazy thing to say. I don't know if this has anything to do with why one person becomes addicted to
Yeah.
alcohol and abuses alcohol and stuff like that, and one person doesn't when they've been through like similar traumas and situations. I've always just kind of been able to like let things roll off my back, be upset about it, and then be like, I can't change that. And all I can do is the next thing.
Yeah.
And I feel like you sit in stuff and it affects you really deeply.
Yeah.
I'm a sensitive person too,
Yeah.
but it's like there are things that affect you long term that maybe wouldn't affect me long term
Yeah.
just because we process stuff
Yeah,
differently.
we really do. I think with that whole thing, I don't think I even really realized that I was holding on to it for so long, but it just kept coming up in everything I was doing. And then finally when I got sober, I was able to go to therapy and be like, what the fuck? Well, rehab was good for this too, but like learning what that whole thing was and why it affected me. And like, it's really, really hard. Like, I feel like it's still hard to this day because sometimes I feel like my story isn't true because it didn't happen to you, you know? I mean, it did happen a little bit more to B, but I always felt like my anger and hate towards him, like you didn't have it as much. And that would frustrate me because I was like, fuck, why am I just crazy? Like, am I not supposed to be upset about this stuff? Like, you know, but we did have very different experiences, or like the way we received it was different.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think for me, because I was at that school for a little bit longer and as I got older, there were certain adults at that school, staff members or teachers or whatever, who I had really positive relationships with.
Yeah.
And so I think that softens the blow of the negative relationships, right? Like,
Yeah.
the principal was so mean to me when I was in grade 9. Like, she was so mean at every opportunity and made me feel like I was always like gonna do something like really bad.
I felt like that too.
You
She didn't
know,
even know
like
me.
calling me out for stuff in front of the entire dining room full of kids. And like, now you're yelling at me because my hair isn't to code or whatever in front of like everybody. Like, thanks. That's not very nice of you.
Calling
Just
us out
stupid
for
stuff.
someone bringing alcohol to school and that was our fault.
That was so nuts because she said that she was trying to impress us.
Yeah, and be cool, I
In
guess.
grade 6, we
Yeah.
weren't drinking alcohol.
I was terrified of alcohol at that time. I was terrified. I was like, this is
I forgot all
insane.
about that. That
Yeah.
was so
I was like,
weird.
she's gonna get
Blamed us
arrested.
for her bringing alcohol to school. That was a weird situation.
I
But
know.
anyway, yeah, I don't know if the fact that I had some positive relationships along with that it like softens the blow of the negative ones, because I still felt like I had safe places to go within that school.
Yeah.
And like there were some teachers that I really loved and that I'm really grateful for the way that they taught me. And like so many things I think I discovered that I could do or be good at or that
Yeah.
I enjoyed. And I wouldn't have known that if it weren't for certain teachers. So
Yeah.
for that, I'm very grateful. I got an education. And it's not like any of my other school experiences were perfect.
Right.
So I'm like, you
Yeah.
know, it is what it is. Like I was bullied by kids at one school and I was bullied by staff at the next.
Yeah. You're like, par for the course, babe. This is my life. We kind of touched on this, but I left, actually, the way that I left that school was because I told my mom that you were leaving. And so
I know.
I got to leave. And she was so fucking mad after. She was like,
Was she
you
really?
said that Paige was leaving too. And I'm like,
I left
"Well,
for a semester
You
or like
did-
a term.
you did leave, which is very,
I left
that
for
was
a few
good.
months.
Yeah.
And I went back, which I think about. I'm like, that was a crazy.
Well, it's not crazy because that's where you were comfortable regardless of what the fuck was happening. You'd been there. That was your family. We were there 8 to 5:30.
Yeah.
That's your whole family.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So it does make sense to go back. It's like Stockholm syndrome. It's like an abused wife. They go back. It takes like 7 tries often.
Yeah.
That's a lot of tries.
That's a lot of tries.
But I get it. It's like sobriety.
Yeah.
So 9th grade, I leave. I go to public school. And this is where you and I start to drift for obvious reasons. I'm in school, I'm dancing, I'm like not at private school. You start dating someone. And I guess that first year we probably were still really close. And then by the end of high school, we just weren't seeing each other as much, I guess.
Yeah.
What's your perspective of that time? Because I'm trying to go back to that time and that feels a little less controversial.
Yeah, it's blurry. I am not one for having the best memory. Like,
Welcome to the pod. Constantly forgetting things in the middle of my
Yeah.
sentence. Yeah.
like my husband can tell me where, when,
Yeah.
how we had any conversation, and I'll be like, I have no recollection of this ever happening.
Yeah.
So I would say at that time, I think just like you were really busy with dance.
Mhm.
I was busy with work and dance and school and whatever, and then dating. And I had kind of started partying. So I was always busy on the weekends with
Right.
like my high school friends and stuff. So I don't feel like it didn't feel like an intentional separation. And
Yeah.
we would still text each other now and then or call each other.
Yeah.
So I still kind of had tabs on you and knew what you were doing,
Mhm.
sort of. Um, and I feel like it was vice versa. And then it wasn't really till you went to
Yeah.
Boston. And I don't think that's entirely your fault because at the same time, that is probably when I had like a mental health crisis when I went away
Yeah, I
to
think
school at what was Ryerson. What's it called now?
Toronto Metropolitan University.
Yeah, and I
Mhm.
only did one semester there and then I came home because I was such a wreck.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I think
your
we were
mental stuff.
both going through crazy shit
Yeah.
and we just didn't talk.
This is the weirdest thing because when we're kids, we're competing. I think you're cooler, you think I'm cooler, you think I'm prettier, I think you're prettier, all these things. It's like obviously you can't when you're a kid, but if we could have just sat down and been like, hey, this is how I feel, this is how you feel.
Yeah.
Same with university. That feels like we should have been leaning on each other.
Mm-hmm.
But in my opinion, like for me, I felt like anytime a mental thing would come up, I would just pull away from everybody. Like I had
Yeah.
zero, I couldn't do
Yeah.
it. And then
Yeah.
you being not with me, like you being in a different country or even a different city, I couldn't, like I didn't know
Yeah.
how.
It's like how do you at 18, 19 call up your friend and be like, "I'm not okay,"
Yeah.
when you yourself don't even really understand maybe that you're not okay or the
Yeah.
extent of it. And in hindsight, it is so crazy because we were both probably going through very similar things at the same
Yeah.
time, but we both felt alone in it. Like, and for me, I didn't tell anybody.
Right.
I didn't tell anybody when I was like deep in my eating disorder.
Yeah.
I didn't say anything to my parents, my brother, any of my friends. Like
Oh,
nobody knew what I was dealing with. The only thing I remember is my mom coming and seeing my res room, which was such a mess, which is so funny because like
really?
you know me now.
Yeah.
I'm at clothes everywhere, like just a disaster and stuff. And
It's a tell.
I just remember her looking at me and she was mad at me because my mom is like,
Clean.
yeah.
hmm
But she was like, Paige, this is like how really depressed people live. And like,
hmm
even in that moment, I wasn't like, oh, I'm depressed.
Right. You're like, I'm fucking up. I'm doing something wrong. I'm messy.
Yeah. So like, you just don't know at that age to be like, hey, somebody help.
Yeah. You don't know, especially when it's body stuff. When it's like an
Mhm.
eating disorder, you're not going to tell anyone. You're not going to be like, hey, now I
No.
have a bad feeling about my body. You're just going to
Yeah.
handle it or
It feels
try.
very shameful and like
Oh, yeah.
something you very much have to hide. And I think, especially at that time, it was just something people didn't talk about.
Yeah.
And if they did, it was like we saw it in the press that, like, you know, like whatever
Lindsay
celebrity,
Lohan, Nicole Richie,
yeah,
those
is
were our
going to
girls.
rehab for an eating disorder
Yeah.
and like how and like it was painted to be this like really embarrassing, evil, awful
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
So of course we didn't want to tell anybody.
No. Well, I wouldn't have ever even made that connection that, like, oh, this is kind of what I'm doing. Like, there's no way. I'm not famous. I'm not, a
Mhm.
celebrity. I don't know. But I think the idea sometimes I hear, like, oh, well, why didn't you just tell someone? Why didn't you talk to me about it? It's like, in what world was my
Yeah.
addiction or my eating disorder going to let me tell anyone?
Mhm.
And B, I'm like, I didn't want to stop. Like, you
Mhm.
don't want to stop when you're in it. You're doing
Yeah.
something.
And I'm also always kind of like, well, nobody ever asked.
Yeah.
You know, like, and it's funny because I've had friends be like, oh, well, I noticed this was weird or that was weird.
hmm
And I'm like, you never just thought maybe I'll ask,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know?
Yeah. My sister's
But
like that too. My sister, there's like a lot of things, and I don't think she feels bad. I don't want her to feel bad, but the like, did you notice that? And she's like, yeah, I mean, you were definitely gaining weight, but like, I didn't really know. I'm like, how big were you gonna let me get? Like,
yeah.
what was I gonna have to explode at your front door for you to be like, maybe has a problem?
Yeah.
Like, holy moly.
Yeah.
How did your eating disorder start?
I could tell you the exact moment, which is so funny because I'm like, oh, I have like no memory of
Oh my
things.
God, okay. Trauma.
Yeah. Yeah. So I feel like this really needs a trigger warning if I go
hmm
into detail. Um,
The whole pod's a trigger warning.
Honestly, one walking
Yeah.
trigger. Um, so I remember because I had just been on interest in kind of like an alcohol binge.
Okay.
And so to be clear, because this hasn't been said yet, I don't think I'm not a sober person.
Mhm.
Um,
But also not an addict.
but also not an
Yeah.
addict.
Not a problem.
However, I've had times
Mhm.
in the past, particularly when I was younger, where I think I was using alcohol in a way that was very unhealthy and maybe as a coping mechanism.
Sure.
But absent of like physical addiction, right?
Yeah.
So I had been on kind of an alcohol binge for like a while
At
since going
school.
away to school. And I got to a point where I was drinking too much. And as a result, I wasn't eating well.
Mm.
And I wasn't exercising as much because I'd gone away to school. So I wasn't dancing anymore. And I had started working out towards the end of high school and really
Oh.
eating well because of my migraines and stuff. And I was
Right.
really trying to keep myself really healthy. And I'd kind of gotten off of all of that stuff when I went away to school. I think because I was lonely and I was depressed. I had
Yeah.
a long-term boyfriend who was back in Ottawa and I was in Toronto.
Yeah.
I didn't know a soul when I moved to Toronto. Like literally not one person
Yeah.
in that city.
And when we talk about small town to big city, that's you. Like you lived in a very
Yeah.
small town, like one street light small town,
Yeah.
and knew everybody at high school,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So it's huge.
It is. And it's what I thought that I wanted at the time.
Mhm.
And then I think I went there and I was like, oh my God, nobody goes outside here. There's like, I remember thinking that. I'm like, what the fuck do you people do all the time?
Indoor cats.
And then I was trying to fit into this sort of like idea of, I think, what like all these like GTA kids that were at that school were into.
Yeah.
And it was like, who's your dad? And like, what celebrity did you
Who's
see
your
on the
dad?
street last week?
What's
And
who's your
like,
dad?
just like, if like somebody's dad was rich or something like that,
Oh.
or famous. Or,
Oh,
who's your daddy?
who's your daddy? I'm like, what? Like, I don't remember this. Who's your dad? I
So I think
Right.
all of that spiraled and I just wasn't in a good place. And so
Mhm.
I wasn't feeling good about my body because it was changing. I'd probably gained some weight and I
Yeah.
just wasn't taking good care of myself. I was feeling really depressed. I was in a very toxic relationship that was long distance.
Mhm.
And I got to the point where I just like couldn't take it anymore. And I had like binged out on a bunch of food and then I felt disgusting afterwards. And I was like, the only thing I can think of that's going to make me feel better is if I get this food out of my body.
Mhm.
And that's the first time that I purged. And that's the only time I cried when I did it.
Were you able to do it the first time?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Good
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah. I just
It-
chucked him back.
And I don't mean good for you because that's
No,
great.
obviously.
It's
Yeah.
when you're in that, it's really hard. It's hard to do. It's
Mhm.
really hard to make yourself throw up. It's like, especially the first time, or maybe it's easier the first time because you're just like,
yeah, I feel like it got harder later
Yeah.
because like your
body gets used to it.
desensitized
Yeah.
a
I'm like,
little
to
bit.
put my right to the elbow.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy
Yeah.
and pull the food out. How long was that going on before, or how long was that going on?
It's really hard to say because, again, my timelines aren't great. I want to say about a year.
Okay. So after you
Where-
moved home.
Yeah, where it was less frequent at a certain point, but there were still times when I would binge and then I would purge. And then there were times where I would be very, very, very restrictive with myself.
Mhm.
But then I remember I kind of knew I had to figure out what the hell I was doing and fix it when it got to the point where it wasn't even a binge and a purge. It was like eat a small meal and purge.
Okay. It's everything.
Right. Eat like a 200-calorie California roll
Yeah.
and then feel like I have to get rid of it and then get a green tea
Yeah.
on my walk home. And like
Soothe.
it just was, I was like, I can't be throwing up in public bathrooms. This is fucking crazy.
Yeah. Did you have that moment where you were, was there a time you did it in somewhere public and were like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, literally that exact scenario. I ate like California rolls or some little sushi I was a skinny girl meal, right? And
240
then
calories.
I walked directly to the Tim Hortons, threw up in the Tim Hortons bathroom, got a green tea, sat there for 5 minutes, felt like everyone in the establishment
Knew.
must know. There's no one else in the bathroom.
No.
Nobody knew.
Nobody cares.
But you have that deep shame. Like
Yeah.
it feels like this paranoia.
Yes.
And then I went back to my boyfriend's apartment and I just said to myself, like, I have to figure out how to make this better. And I somehow did without professional help, which I don't recommend.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And you just stopped doing it?
Kind of. I stopped purging.
Mm-hmm.
I was still being restrictive at times and I was still binging at times. But
Okay.
in my brain, I was like, well, it's fine because I'm not yakking anymore. So
Okay. Were you okay to eat and not throw up though? Like, were you were you in a place where like, oh, it's okay because I'll just eat less tomorrow? Or were you like, oh my God, I wish I could throw up right now?
um, I don't really know.
Okay.
I probably would be like, oh, I ate too much
Mm-hmm.
yesterday, so I can eat less tomorrow. And then eventually I got into, well, I'll just eat really, really healthy and then it won't matter. Then everything will be fine because I'll be eating really healthy.
Yeah.
In hindsight, that was also not mentally healthy
Mm,
because I was in a position where I was depriving myself of certain foods or certain quantities of food still.
okay.
And I was like, well, I'm feeding myself. I'm eating 3, 4 meals a day,
Mm-hmm.
you know, doing everything
Right.
right. But I'm like absolutely terrified to walk into a McDonald's or something, you know what I mean? Or like
Yeah.
I have to eat before I go somewhere because I don't know what kind of food they're going to have there. And I think some
Totally.
of that came from my genuine food sensitivities and
Mm-hmm.
like limiting certain things in my diet for my health because
Yeah.
of my migraines and stuff. And then that snowballed into everything is toxic and bad for you.
Okay.
And
Here we
it was
go.
like this orthorexic, which no one was talking about at the
Nope.
time.
You were just looking healthy, like just
Yeah.
looking like you were the most
Hmm.
healthy granola mom.
And people, like my friends were like, oh, I wish I could be healthy like you. I wish I could, like, what do you eat? And like, I started losing weight and people noticed that. And they're like,
Mhm.
wow, you look really good. And I remember one of my friends' moms used to like wax my eyebrows. I went to see her and she was like, don't lose any more weight.
Okay.
And she's like, you look good. Like, I could tell she was trying to be gentle about it, but she was like, don't lose any more weight though. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, haha. But I remember in my brain, I was like,
Right.
yes. And like,
Yeah.
I thought I was better at that point, which is so crazy.
Oh my
But
God.
I
It
was
yeah.
never deathly skinny,
I know. And then that wait, well, you did
which
get quite
messes with your head
it
too.
messes with your head. It's like, do I have a
I was
problem?
thin, but I was never like, I don't think I ever really looked unhealthy or malnourished or unwell. So like for me, I was always like, oh, well, it's not that bad because I'm not that skinny.
Yeah.
And then it was like I did yoga teacher training and that changed my entire life.
Okay.
That really helped me get better in a lot of ways.
Hmm. When
Um,
was that? Where are we timeline?
at this point, I'm like 20.
Okay. So
It all happened pretty
okay.
fast.
Because you went to school at
Yeah.
18. We're back.
Well, I was 19 by the time I went to
Right,
school.
right, right. Now we're back on
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. So I was like 20. Yeah, I must have been 20 when I
Hmm.
did my yoga teacher training. And there's this whole yogic philosophy that like people I find don't really talk about with like Western yoga practice
Hmm.
as much. It's like touched on in some classes, but like it really kind of saved my life in a way. That and my dog.
Really?
I got my dog and then I had like something to live for
I
and it was
see.
wonderful. She's
Yeah.
my little all the time like you saved my life. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
so I had my dog and I did my yoga teacher training and around the same time I was doing my yoga teacher training, my relationship ended and I was so
That
heartbroken.
same relationship?
Yeah, I got my butt dumped and I was so heartbroken and I
Oh.
really thought I was worthless without this person.
Mhm.
And I had done things in our relationship that I wasn't proud of. And I was carrying so much guilt with that.
Yeah,
And I beat myself up for years and years and years. And part of that was like through my eating disorder, it was like a self harm thing.
totally.
And so, anyways, through this yoga teacher training, I learned a lot about the different sort of branches of the yogic philosophy
Mhm.
and this idea of non judgment and non harm. Those were the
Okay.
big ones. And you can't properly practice non judgment if you're still judging yourself.
Right.
So I had to let go of a lot of stuff.
Hmm.
And this
Yoga.
idea of non harm. And I'm like, here I am harming my body
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
my mind with it. And it sounds like so woo woo. I mean, have you met me?
She's a witch.
She's a witch. But that was like the
Wow.
lights came on, and I'm so grateful for that. And it was very therapeutic, even though I didn't go to maybe like formal therapy. And I'm so grateful for that
Wow.
experience. And then after that, I started lifting weights. And that's when it really,
Okay.
thank God,
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
thank God.
We will get into that because I have a lot of weight questions and not just about like if you lift a lot of weight. Because I really do think that you and your husband are lying to me that you've never shit your pants lifting a weight.
Not one.
There's no way he pulls
Some
trucks.
people do.
Yeah.
He doesn't really eat when he competes, though, because he gets anxious. Nothing in
Oh.
the
Oh, he's
system.
just a girl.
Oh,
He's just a girl.
yeah.
Okay, well, I still don't believe you, but it's okay. You've peed yourself. Have you peed yourself lifting?
No.
Okay, but I did see a video of a girl pee herself, and I did not love
Some
that.
people do experience some pelvic floor dysfunction
So
when lifting
PC.
heavy loads.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Not
mean, it
me.
makes sense, but it's just not for me. I just can't be peeing myself in public. Not anymore. Around that time, when you had come back, when you had gone back, I think I was like, I don't remember, but I do have this like little feeling that I was like probably annoyed with you that you didn't stay in Toronto. In the
Oh,
same way that I was kind
okay.
of annoyed with everybody for like being in a bad relationship or like not doing what they should be doing. Like I think I was probably stressed with my own life and I was like taking that out. And I probably never said anything about it, but I was like, the feelings were like, ugh, like she's going home. Why is she going home? This is so
Yeah.
stupid, you know? But
Yeah.
obviously I know, like I never, and I stopped feeling that way, but that's not like why, but it must have been that year, like my sophomore year maybe. I
Mhm.
came back to school and I had lost a fuck ton of weight and then I started
Mhm.
gaining it all back. So I bet you we saw each other that summer before second year.
Probably.
Yeah, and maybe
Yeah,
that's
that checks out.
maybe
'Cause I
that's
feel
the
like I
make
had
out.
this boyfriend at that time.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And so that was probably okay for me because at that point I was running every day and I was losing weight and not eating. And so I felt like I was, like, what would you say? Like I was allowed to see you. Like I felt like it was
Oh.
okay.
So you felt like you couldn't see me when you had gained the weight
Yeah.
back.
When I had gained all the weight back, that's when I stopped talking to you. Like,
It's crazy that you say gained the weight back because you were already so skinny.
right. But when I guess in like, you know, in freshman year, like you gain 15 pounds and then you lose a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
But losing all that weight so fast and more, I lost like, I
Mhm.
don't know, like 30 pounds probably in a summer. And then coming back to school and being like, okay, go. I'm like, well, I can't hold on to this. Like I have to, eventually I'm going to binge everything and be Miss Big. But I do remember the summer after my sophomore year, I was big or big for me or whatever that was.
Mhm.
But I like remember not wanting to see you. This is where it
Wow.
started. Yeah, I was
Okay.
scared to come home and tell you that I was home because I felt like at that point, I was always jealous of your body. Also, like you were just tiny and you like, I don't know, you had a pool. So I'm like, oh, we're going to be in the pool. I can't do that. And I felt so ashamed to see you. And I don't know why, because even to this day, it's like you would have been the one who was like, bitch, it's fucking fine. Like,
Yeah.
come over as you are. I don't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah.
But for some reason with you, I just felt so unworthy in a way, or like I just couldn't do it. And then that got worse and worse. And then I guess we didn't talk for a while.
Yeah, or very little.
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, you FaceTime me when you were in Guatemala and stuff a few times.
Okay. So through
But
college.
it was sporadic. Like,
Yeah.
it was very, like every few months or a
Yeah.
few times a year, we would kind of talk.
But like that checking in, I feel like that was probably still there.
Yeah.
We just weren't as close.
Yeah. And I do remember feeling like you would be like, oh, I'm going to be in Ottawa. Like, I'll come see you. And I'm like,
Yeah.
great. I'm going to get to see Heather. And then that week that I knew you were supposed to be home, you would go dark and you like wouldn't message me or anything. And I would always be like, well, what the fuck? Like,
because I'd probably be drinking when I would text you and be like, I'm so excited to see you. And then I would get sober or I'd be sober and be like, I can't fucking do that.
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Like, look at me. There's no way. And then what happened? Then I moved to New York.
Mm-hmm.
You were doing your...
We didn't really talk at all, I think, when you were in New York.
No.
That first time.
I don't think we did at all.
No.
But then what I remember is like being back in Toronto when I moved back. It was a Christmas and it must have been, fuck man, it was before you got, I don't even think you were engaged yet. And it was a Christmas and you texted me and you said, if you don't see me over this break, you're not going to be in my wedding. And
I don't remember that.
You don't remember that?
See, like, I think shit I don't remember in my own life.
I don't think it probably wasn't like a, a serious, like, you won't be, like, it wasn't like a sit down confrontation, but I think
Yeah.
it was like a, bitch, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like,
Kind of an ultimatum, like
yeah.
we're friends or we're
Well, because
not.
that was our whole thing growing up. Like, we were going to have weddings together. We were going to live together. We were
Yeah.
going to, like, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it really hurt me. And I went home that Christmas and I didn't see you. And you texted me a bunch. And then after that, I think that's when we stopped talking.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I hate that.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I don't really know it from your perspective, but from my perspective, I was in so much pain and I wanted to see my best friend, but I could not let you see me like that. I was so ashamed. I had gone so far. Like, I was so depressed. I was doing nothing. I was back, like, in Toronto being a fucking loser working at Aritzia. And I was like, are you kidding? Like, how am I going to come to you now and be like, after all this time, I'm fucking nothing and ugly, you know? So that was, like, my perspective of it all. And, like, it's shit.
Yeah. I mean, it makes me so sad. I kind of feel bad that I texted you that because I'm like, I wouldn't want to see me either. Like, what a bitch.
But it didn't feel bitchy at all. It felt very much like, okay, like, I want you in my wedding.
Like,
So can you see me?
get off the pot kind of
Yeah.
thing.
It didn't feel mean. It didn't feel vicious at all. It just felt like, hello?
Yeah. Well, that's good. I
Mhm.
mean, it's so funny because I had no idea. We weren't talking enough
Mhm.
for me to know what was going on with you. So again, that's where from my perspective, I'm like, okay, so like you went to Boston Conservatory. You're this incredibly talented dancer. You finished school there and then you go and you're working as a dancer in New York and stuff. I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, you just like, I'm not cool enough. Like, I'm a country bumpkin. I moved back to my hometown. I had worked a bunch of different kind of odd jobs and stuff. I'd been a camp counselor, I'd worked retail, and then I'd worked at a bunch of different gyms, and I was
I'm gonna cry. Sorry.
and then I was like, oh, well, I'm just a personal trainer,
Mhm.
right? Like, I'm just a strength coach. Like, oh, I don't have a cool, like, I'm not working in fashion, and I
Right.
don't live in Toronto, and I'm not doing all these cool things that like Heather probably thinks is cool. So I'm just not worthy and like whatever because
Yeah.
I'm not doing any of these things that my perception of what people valued, I guess, in
Mhm.
that area from my own
Right.
experiences
Like,
when
you've
I
been
had
there.
been there.
Yeah.
And maybe that's not fair to you because that's like implying that you're really shallow.
No.
I
That's
just
what it
think
seemed like to
we
you.
hadn't seen each other in so long. And I think I started to feel like if something was really bad, like with your boyfriend or something, you would call me and I would be there for you, but then I wouldn't hear from you the rest of the time. And I was like, well, like
Yeah.
if I'm going to be there for you in the shitty times, I want to be there for the good stuff too, right?
Yeah.
And so I think I just felt kind of slighted in that way and I
Yeah.
felt a little bit rejected and so I was like, "Hey, well, I'm not going to keep putting myself out there
Mhm.
if every time you're in town you're not going to come see me." Because
Yeah.
I had no idea. Like obviously, I don't feel that way now knowing what I know.
Yeah.
And I understand that it really had so little to do with me and
Yeah.
everything to do with how you were feeling at the time. But that in the moment, that's how I felt.
Yeah. And I am, oh my God, sorry. I knew I was gonna fucking cry. I am so sorry, and I know we've, like, gone through
Yeah,
this.
that is like so not even needed at this
No, I know, but it's just, it's crazy not only for, like, me to, like, have you going through my thing and abandon you, but, like, you were going through shit too, and I could not give one fuck. I
Yeah,
couldn't.
but you wouldn't have even known because I didn't tell you.
Right.
Right? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
It's like you could how can you be there for me if I'm not gonna say, "I need you here for me"?
Why did you keep trying with me?
You're a hard habit to break.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I love you so much. Like,
Yeah,
we
I love you
did. We
too.
went through a lot together as kids, and
Mhm.
we were so close. Like, I don't think that I can properly get across the sort of, like, pressure cooker our friendship was
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
when we were young because we spent so much time together
Yeah.
over those years. And I had so much love for you, and I always felt like you were so cool, and I just wanted to be around you. Like, you're just a person I wanna be around. And I guess I just always like, "Oh, she's gonna come around. It's okay. Like, we're
Yeah.
living separately, like, we're busy and stuff."
Yeah.
And I think I don't know, like, when I care a lot about my friends and my family.
Yeah.
And if if I care about somebody, I'm not just gonna be like, "Ah, screw you then." You know?
Yeah.
Like, once I'm in, I'm in.
Yeah. Got to a
So,
got to a point though.
got got to a point, but it's funny because the hardest part of our friendship was not when you were in your worst part of addiction.
Mm-mm.
Not by a mile.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I feel like the hardest part was that part there where I felt, like, rejected and, like, we
Oh,
weren't
okay.
talking. Like, to me, your
Okay.
worst part of addiction, I guess I would mean, like, right before you got sober.
Okay.
And we
Yeah.
were actually very, very close through that,
Yeah. Yeah. Thank
which is
God.
so interesting because you would think if there was ever a time when I was like, "I'm cutting you off," it would have been when you were being a maniac.
I I was waiting for you to sorry. Um, I was waiting for you when you were pregnant to tell me that like I can't be around him or when he was born. And that was like a huge thing for me when you got pregnant. When you got engaged, we'll go back, but when you got pregnant, I was like, "Oh, okay. This is fucking huge. Like this is a real
Mhm.
thing that's happening that's outside of me." And like I like how am I going to survive if like my best friend like won't let me see her baby, you know?
Yeah.
And at that point I was already so sad about you and like all this stuff. But like that's fine. Like I saw him, he's the best. But I was very worried. I was waiting
Mhm.
for you to cut me off. And like I guess we kind of cut each other off, but you got engaged
Mhm.
and you'd been dating Bren. Oh, sorry.
No, you can say it again.
Okay.
That's fine.
You got engaged and you'd been dating Bren for how many years?
We were dating for, like, a year when we got engaged.
Only a
A
year?
year and a couple months.
Oh my
We
God.
got engaged, and then we went house shopping 2 days later.
And how's it going now?
He's still
He's
around.
still
I
around.
cannot get rid of this man.
Wow. He's pretty great.
I love him.
Yeah. And
He's a really wonderful person.
he could probably, do you think he could pick us both up?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Oh, I was going to text you yesterday. If you trained for it, do you think you could lift him? Like
Oh,
from the ground?
like overhead?
No.
I could lift him from the ground right
You
now.
can?
Yes.
You're so strong. He's not a big fatty. He's just like he's a strong man.
Yes.
Is that what he's considered?
He's muscularly dense. Yeah, he competes in strongman.
He competes
Yeah.
in strong. He's a strong man.
He is a strongman. That's what they call it. And a banker, which I think is so funny.
Yeah. Under his button up. It's just like
it's very Superman, Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, so cool. You got engaged to Bren, and I didn't know anything about him. I'd never met him. And I think there was a moment where I kind of felt slighted by that in a way. Like probably not, but like in the way of like I fucked this up and now my best friend is like engaged. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I called you
Yeah.
from my bed in the morning and I saw that you had got engaged. And I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, Paige is engaged. This is crazy. And I called you, and I'll just say my perspective of what happened. The way you answered the phone broke my heart. Cause it was like you were answering the phone to like a ghost. Like you were like, hello? And I was like, oh my God, you're engaged. Congratulations. And you were like, oh, yeah, thanks. And when we got off the phone, I was like, oh my God, we don't know each other. We're not friends. Like, she fucking hates me. Like, I'm not in her life. I'm an idiot. Why would I even call her? Like, I just was like, duh. I've been sitting here drinking in my bed for fucking years. Like,
Yeah.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember that phone call?
Yeah, I do remember that phone call. And I remember it was kind of weird because there's a thing that happens sometimes when big things happen in your life. This may have happened to you even like with like releasing the podcast and stuff, where like people come out of the woodwork and it's like, now you're here all of a sudden. Like, what do you mean? What are you talking about? And I feel like I was just a little bit cautious when I got that phone call because I was like, oh, now that I'm getting married, like you just want to come to the party.
After I got off the phone with you, that's what I felt. I was like, oh my God, she's going to think I called her just so I could come to the wedding. I knew that that's how you were going to feel because up until that point, that's kind of what I'd been doing with everybody. Like I would only call them if I needed them or if I was using them for something and not maliciously. It's just all I had capacity for because I was so fucked up. But yeah, that phone call sucked. And then did I call you again? I called you again and you were in the car.
Yeah. Yeah, you must have called me again because then we had a conversation. and you apologized to me.
Yeah.
And you asked me.
Did I tell you what was going on?
To go for coffee with you. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think you just were like, I'm really sorry. Like,
yeah,
I haven't been there. Like, we haven't really talked. I want to explain myself. Like, can we please go get coffee? I'm going to be in town. And I was kind of like, I mean, yeah, sure. And that made me feel a little bit better. But it was when we sat down and we had coffee and you really sincerely apologized and you cried. And I'm pretty sure I cried.
yeah.
And I was like, okay, this feels really genuine. And like, this is like my best friend I want to have in my life. And I just decided to be like, okay, that's fine. But I remember saying to you, like, you do that to me again, I'm done.
Yeah,
It's like, we're not doing that again. Like, if you're going to be here, you're going to be here.
I remember that ultimatum and I was like, or ultimatum or whatever. I remember you being like, okay, but I'm not, you said something like, I'm going to it's going to take time for me to trust you again. And I, for some reason, I was like, yeah, I know. And but I wanted more than anything, like anything else, I wanted to be in your life. Like in that moment, and still, I was like, okay, hold on. I'm doing all this bullshit, but like I will show up. I'll be there. And then, well, no, then we were okay.
We were great. You came to my wedding. You came to my bridal shower. You came to my wedding.
Did you know anything was up with me at that point?
Not really.
Okay.
I mean,
because I was thin. I was blonde.
And you were like happy in your new relationship. And he came to the wedding and I got to meet him and he was delightful. And you guys were having so much fun and dancing. And like, I just felt like I was like, okay, this is great. And then I think it wasn't until after that when I started to be like,
because I was FaceTiming you.
Well, yeah, we were FaceTiming a lot and we will talk for hours at a time on FaceTime. And you were always drinking when you FaceTimed me. And then it was like, not only were you, like, I'm like, okay, whatever, you're having a glass of wine, like big deal. But then it was like, you're always
drunk,
slurring your words when you FaceTime me or crying or really kind of animated and like almost manic. Like you're crying or you're in a really, really phenomenal mood and you're slurring your words. And I was kind of like,
what is this?
Because no one was seeing anybody, COVID and stuff, and you were stuck in your condo and I was stuck in my house with my husband. Like, it's hard to clock how bad it is until I came to see you. Yeah.
But that was after the wedding. Yeah. Yeah, you came to see me. I don't want to do this part.
We don't have to.
No, we have to. We have to. I hate it. But it's okay.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I don't want to hurt your feelings.
You're not gonna
and
hurt
I don't
my
want it to be
feelings.
like, Paige is shitting on Heather for
No,
an hour.
you know what? I actually think it's really important to hear this perspective from like the addict's friend, a family member, not seeing me, there's a whole other world. Like I can sit here with Zoe and I can sit here with you and talk about eating disorders, but I can sit here with Zoe and talk about all the shit I did, how bad I was doing, what I was feeling. But I think a lot of times we miss the perspective of the people around us who love us, who are just essentially getting kicked to the fucking curb and don't know why, So do you want to tell everyone what happened when you came to see me?
Which time?
Oh, God. Okay.
Because I came to see you.
Yeah.
Post-breakup.
Yeah.
It was quite a bit post-breakup.
Yeah. And then my friend came over and we went out, right?
Yeah. We went out. We had a great time. It all seemed like really fun.
I think we kissed.
Oh, probably. I mean, if I had a nickel.
I think we went to the drag show.
If I had a nickel. We did go to the drag show. That was really fun. So that time I came and it just seemed like a fun like girls' weekend, right? Like we had like Prosecco at lunch and I thought that was like so fun.
That was such a fun
But in
trip,
hindsight, I'm like, was Heather just doing this all the time? Like we split a bottle of Prosecco at lunch. I was like, oh my God, how fun and cool and Sex in the City of us. Like I was like, oh my God, this is great. Like not to be a total nerd, but just there's nowhere to do that where I'm from.
But listen, that's been my whole thing. Paige and I grew up on Sex in the City. We would sit in her mom's back room and watch all of it. And the DVD version
Which
was
is
like
not censored.
It's porn. And I was so horny all the time sitting beside you watching Sex in the City at like 12. But that's always what I wanted. I wanted to have to have friends that I could go and have a glass of wine with.
Yeah.
So it was like that. It
Yeah.
was so fun.
Yeah. It seems just like really cool and really chic and whatever. And we did that and like gallivanted around the city and whatever. And then, yeah, we got ready and we went out and it was a really fun time. But I do remember noticing when I arrived at your condo, I was like, and I yelled at you a couple of times when I was there.
Oh, my dryer.
Because, okay.
Mm.
I walk into this apartment and I pretty quickly noticed, I was like, okay, it's really messy in here, which whatever, not everyone's a clean freak and that's fine.
I had probably spent 48 hours cleaning.
But it looked like you hadn't cleaned before I came over. And I remember thinking, who the fuck doesn't clean up before they have guests, you know? And I was like, and I mean, it's just me. So it's not like I'm expecting like, you know, some sort of regal treatment. But I was like, come on, Heather, clean your place. But I'm like, whatevs. And then it was little things I started to pick up on. The dryer was kind of hilarious, but I can't express to you enough how much of a fire hazard this was.
I know.
I had to like wash underwear or something like that because of course I didn't pack enough. And so I did a small load of laundry and I went to put it in the dryer. And Heather's lint dryer was like in the back of the dryer because it was like one of those little ones. And it was just bursting at the seams, like it was all coming out. I swear to God, you must have never cleaned that the entire time you had lived there for the last like 2 years or whatever. And I looked at it and I opened it and I started pulling out this massive chunk of like lint and stuff. And I just remember yelling, I was like, Heather, what the fuck? Are you trying to burn down the whole condo building?
Yeah, I know.
And in that moment, I was like, I'm my mom.
But it's true.
But I was like, that is such a, and she's like, oh, haha. And I was like, you can't, that's insane. Has no one taught you how to do laundry? And then there were other little things I picked up on where like I went to pick something up off the floor and I noticed there were wine bottles under the bed.
Yeah.
And like it was little stuff like that where I was like, this is weird. But she's going through something right now. She went through a rough breakup. You know, Heather's not a neat freak, whatever. And I think I kind of like chalked it up to not a huge deal.
Yeah.
And then it was the next time that I came and I was pregnant.
Yeah, so that would have been like a year later probably, right?
Yeah, probably. And I was like, I was there. We celebrated like our birthdays. We went to the Four Seasons. We did a whole spa thing. Like we had a really nice time. But what I noticed was when we weren't at the Four Seasons and at the spa, you did not want to leave the condo. And I was like, I didn't come all the way to Toronto to sit on your couch.
I know.
Like, I never get out of my small town. Like, I never go anywhere. I was like, let's go do something. Like, let's go have lunch, like, whatever. And you just, like, wanted to order in and you didn't really want to leave. And the place was messier. And I obviously wasn't drinking because I was pregnant. And you were, like, getting a bottle of wine just for you, which I really didn't care if people wanted to drink around me when I couldn't because I was pregnant. I'm like, whatever. But I was like even at the Four Seasons, you like got a bottle of rosé. Like it was like every day.
Yeah, I know. I was
that I
waiting
was
for you to say
there.
something. I didn't want you to, but I
like,
was like, oh God.
I didn't want to say anything because I really think like obviously you know that I know I'm sitting right here. You know what I'm seeing. And if you want to talk about it, and I don't know if this is correct, but my idea around like changing behaviors is you have to want to do it. And maybe some of that is
100%.
because I'm like a strength coach and a nutrition coach and stuff. And just what I know about behavior change and what I've seen working with my clients, and I think it's probably even more so with addiction and stuff, no one is going to be able to make you do anything.
Yeah.
I can't make anybody change their behavior unless that's something that they want to change. And I think a lot of the time, like in my line of business, people want to throw money at the problem and like hire a coach or something and hope the problem goes away.
Yeah.
And I'm very adamant to people that like, I am more than happy to support you, but I can't do the work for you.
Right.
Right. And I think that that was just kind of how I felt in that situation. And I think also I was pregnant and going through this huge life change. And I was like, I can't take on Heather's addiction.
Yeah.
All I could do was like be there for you when you would like call me and be like, I need to find a way to stop drinking. When you would text me, I need to get sober, and then delete the text message, but I already saw it.
Yeah. that happened did it happen twice maybe?
There was one time that you said, I need to get sober.
Yeah.
And then the next day you texted me again when I saw it in the morning and you said, I'm actually not ready to talk about that yet. So I left it.
Yeah.
And then there's another time when you sent it and you unsent it, but I'd already read it before you unsent it.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew that. And you were like, I saw that. And I was like, just kidding. I don't
And
know.
you were also like talking about doing like hypnotherapy for addiction.
I
So
did.
there were things that you were doing that was in your way telling me that you needed to get sober. And I just remember telling you, listen, it's okay if you're not ready, but when you are ready, we can talk about it. But I wasn't going to make you talk about it.
Yeah.
And then you really came to it on your own.
Well, I mean, eventually I'm like, I'm going to die and I'm not going to be able to see your baby and like all this shit. But that was rough. That whole trip was rough because I was like in such bad withdrawal the whole time. And that was me drinking light, by the way. So
like when you came for the bump party?
No. When you came to see me.
Oh, yes.
That was me drinking light because I was drinking 3 to 4 bottles of wine a day at that point. And having 1 bottle of wine, waiting till the end of the day, I was miserable, Pete. I was I was so nauseous. I was mad. I was mad at you. Like
I could tell because you didn't want to do anything.
I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go outside. I also was so fat. So I was like, I'm not going outside. And whatever that feeling is to anybody, like to me, being in a bigger body is like the worst thing for me.
Yeah.
Or it was. It was the worst thing for me. And I didn't want to go outside. I didn't want to do anything. I didn't have any clothes that fit. I just wore that one Acne oversized t-shirt dress the whole time.
Yeah. I love that t-shirt dress.
I know, I like it too. And then it was your bump New Year's party.
Yeah, the bump party.
And I don't know what the fuck compelled me to go. I think because I was like, oh, I have to be in her life.
Yeah.
And like, this is the baby. So I have to be there for like the big moment.
Yeah. I wanted you to go. I was happy you came.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what the fuck?
Like I showed up drunk.
It was kind of a jump scare a little bit. Well, because Brendan came and picked you up from the train.
Yeah.
And I remember when I don't know if I ever told you this, but when he came home and like you went downstairs to the guest room and we're like getting all set up, he looked at me and he's like, Heather smelled like wine when I picked her up.
Oh, yeah.
Like he was like, and obviously like he knows you and would often be like joining our FaceTime conversations and stuff. So he was pretty aware of how much you were drinking too. So he kind of had tabs on it, but he was like, she smelled like, and it was like 11 a.m. or something.
Yeah, it was early.
And I was like, okay. And I could tell when I had visited you that time previous, you had gained some weight. Like, fine, who cares? I don't care. Like, if you weigh 4 pounds or 400 pounds, like, I really don't care. Whatever. If you're happy and you're taking care of yourself, that's fantastic. But I noticed when you came then in January for that party, I was like, what is going on? Because you showed up and you were much bigger than I'd ever seen you and like it had happened quite rapidly, right? Which isn't healthy weight gain. And I know you and I know how you feel good in your body. And I was like, that ain't it. Like at all. And so that was kind of like, okay. And you didn't look like you were taking care of yourself. You didn't look like you were washing your hair regularly. You didn't. And I really like, I don't say that to make you feel gross or hurt your feelings. But it was like, you've always been someone who like, if you're going somewhere, you're going to like do your hair, like put on like a little bit of mascara or like a blush. And just like, you always present yourself a certain way. You're like a very put together person. And you showed up and you were a disaster. Yeah. And I was like,
I don't think I knew I was a disaster.
I was like, what is going on? Because that's when I was like, you're not taking care of like your basic needs clearly. And I was like, that's when I was worried for your health. Like before I was like, you're drinking too much and that's not good.
Yeah.
That was when I was like, oh my God, you're gonna die.
Yeah. Really?
If you don't get better. Yeah, for sure. I started getting to a point where I was like, you can't do this and make it to 45.
Yeah.
Right? Or if you do, by some miracle, like you're not going to be in good health and stuff. And I just was like, that's when I was like, the train is off the tracks.
Yeah.
And I was worried. And I was worried about having a baby. And then I was like, am I going to let Heather come hold my baby hammered?
Like, you did think about that.
Yeah, for sure. But it wasn't like, I definitely wasn't thinking, oh, I'm going to have to cut her off.
Okay.
That was never a thing because I think I had enough compassion and enough understanding of addiction to be like, there's something really wrong here and you're dealing with something
Okay. So you knew I had an
so much
addiction.
for sure.
Yeah.
I'd known that for like a
Okay.
long time at that point.
Yeah.
I'd say probably a couple of years at that point. I was like, oh, like this is an addiction issue.
Mm-hmm.
So I was never going to not be there for you. But at the same time, I don't want a drunk person around my baby.
No.
So it's not like I wasn't going to see you or be there for you or support you, but I knew that there was going to have to be a conversation at some point if you didn't get sober,
I did not want to have that conversation.
where if you were going to be like, I want to come see you. And I talked to my husband about that. I was like, what am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can't have someone actively hammered around my baby. Like, that's not like a healthy, safe
Yeah.
environment, you know?
No.
And so I was so happy when very shortly after I had him, you called me and you're like, I'm going to rehab next week. And I was like, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I
That was
was
so
so
good.
proud of you. And I thought that was so amazing.
Mhm.
And just the way you committed yourself to that, like, now I'm going to cry. Like, I'm so grateful because when I saw you then after that and you were sober, I was like, I got my friend back because like I didn't know who you were for so long. I still loved you, but I was like when you walked through my doors that one day, I was like, who is this person? And then it was like I got my friend back and I was so grateful and I'm like, "Oh my god, she's going to be okay." And like I can sit down and I just felt like we could be us when we were 12.
Yeah.
That's really how I felt, and I was like, "Thank God for that," and it was just
Oh, fuck.
that was huge for me
Yeah.
and huge for you, and I'm, like, honestly so proud of you. Like,
Yeah.
what a cool, amazing, very hard thing you've done.
No, I didn't actually realize, like, how much that affected you and, like, how happy you were when I got sober until right now. Like, I knew you were, obviously, but, like, yeah, it really my life, like, stopped, and, you were a huge catalyst for me to get sober just because your life was moving, and you were happy, and I was, like, watching a happy person go on with their life without me, and then, like, looking around and being like, "It's not even just her, it's everybody," you
Mhm.
know? But with you, there's, like, always been something where I'm like, I can't, like, let this friendship go, and I never wanted to. I just was like, I didn't have the capacity. I couldn't do anything, you know?
Mhm.
And I'm so grateful that you, like, gave me a chance and that you, like, stuck with me. Cause fuck, man, you totally could have just been like, "Honestly, this is too much. We, like, grew apart, whatever." But it's, like, really speaks to your character and our friendship and
Yeah.
all that fucking trauma and everything you know about
Mhm.
me.
Well, and to your character, to your credit, because again, I don't want this whole podcast episode to be like, Heather sucks.
Like, I did suck.
I mean, we all do sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I said, like I've done things that I was not proud of when I
Mhm.
was in like bad places where I was drinking too much or I was very depressed or I was in my eating or I was anxious, whatever. Like we've all done things and we have to be able to let go of that or
Mhm.
we truly cannot move forward. You can't do anything else good
Mm-mm.
and feel truly good about it until you let go of that stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't want you beating yourself up over things. Like even like every time it comes up, you'll say, I'm sorry. And I'm like, for what?
I know.
Like it's so done. It's like beyond water under the bridge at this point for me. And like it's not keeping me up at night. I would hate for it to keep you up at night. Do you
Yeah.
know what I mean? And like my original point being, you are a very good person. You're a very good friend. Like I said, you are the person who you walk into a room and people pay attention. And I think that is like just this beautiful quality to have. And like you're funny and you're ridiculous and you're completely unfiltered. And sometimes you say stuff and I'm like, good God, Heather, not the time.
Yeah.
But I love that about you. And that's why I'm still here. And that's why I wanted to be there for you through all of this stuff
Mhm.
because I have so much love for you and you have in a lot of ways been a really good friend to me and when it really counted you showed up and for you to be the type of person who can take accountability and say these are moments I'm not proud of and here's how I'm going to make it better is like so huge. I think that's all we can ask of
Mhm.
people in our lives.
Yeah.
Because people are going to mess up and they're going to hurt our feelings and they're going to mistreat us.
Mm-hmm.
But if they can honestly say, this was my bad.
Yeah.
I'm going to change this moving forward. And if you can both keep love through that, I'm like,
yeah,
that's it. You know, like you're a really incredible person for being able to do all that. And I'm just very grateful that you got your shit together and you didn't die on me.
That was coming.
Yeah.
That was fucking coming. Damn. I love you so much.
I love you.
Do you have any, I mean, you touched on it a little bit, but do you have any advice for anyone that's in your position that has a friend who's really fucking addicted to something, or you think they are?
I mean, I am far from a professional on this, so I don't know what I'm talking about. But speaking from my own experiences, I think all you can do is continue to let someone know that you are there for them. And I mean, I know in some situations when you have someone in your life who's an addict, maybe you can't stay too close to that person because it's not healthy for you yourself. And I think that is also very valid.
Totally.
But I think if you make sure that the person you love knows that should they find themselves ready, you will be there and you will not pass judgment on them. And you are willing to forgive them and support them through getting better. That's all you can really do. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, they have to make that decision. And when they do, they're really going to need the support.
Yeah. That's good advice. Because you were there the whole time. I was texting you from rehab. I was telling you what's going on.
I was getting all the tea.
All of the tea. Wow. Do you want to plug your business?
Sure. Oh my God, cool. Yeah, we didn't really fully talk about that. So I'm a strength coach and a nutrition coach.
How do you think about this?
That's pretty good.
How you think?
You got some bicep popping out there.
You see my
Pilates arms
shaking when I try to.
We'll work on that.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, so I'm a strength coach and a nutrition coach. So my focus is mostly on strength training. I do have a powerlifting team that I coach within the Ontario Powerlifting Association and the IPF, which is really cool. And I compete on myself. So for people who are into powerlifting or interested in getting into it, that's an option. But I deal with a lot of people who just want to be strong and fit and healthy. And that is
what's it called?
A great thing to want to be. Paige Wood Training and Nutrition. So I'm on Instagram at Paige or KW.
Yeah, we'll link it.
Yeah. And
you do online stuff too, right?
Yes, mostly online stuff. So I do some in-person training, but for the most part, I do online programming for nutrition and strength training.
Perfect.
And my powerlifting team is Wood Powerlifting Co.
So cool.
Look that up too. Yeah.
So good. Next time I come back here, which I think is October, we'll do an episode about transfer addiction into the fitness community. Because I have so many questions.
No. I love this. Yeah, Bren and I were just talking about this.
Yeah, because I feel like so many people get into fitness through addiction recovery or like depression or eating disorders and shit. So that'll be
very, very interesting.
Well, P, your first podcast, you fucking crushed it.
Thanks.
Thank you for coming. I love you.
I was so scared.
I know, it's scary. I'm so proud of you.
I'm so proud of you.
I'm proud of you guys.
Proud of you.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Girl Undrunk. You can follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Girl Undrunk Podcast and or send me an email at heather@girlundrunk.com.